Because he got arrested for shooting Frank Costello when he's a young man.
Yes, he did.
Did
Yes,
he
he did.
did you ever hear about that growing up? Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Rita Gigante. Hello.
Hey, he did not. Once he made that decision, he knew he was never getting out, he said unless it's in a box or he dies in jail.
Because he got arrested for shooting Frank Costello when he's a young man.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Did you ever hear about that growing up?
After I found out, yes, absolutely.
And did you ever hear any law enforcement presence around you, or
There was never any law enforcement around us. We've never experienced that. Doctors, we've experienced his doctors, whether they were for his physical body or his mental. We've experienced them. They used to come and check on him. He used to check himself into the mental hospital in St. Vincent's, it was called. And anytime he felt the FBI was getting too close, he would check himself in for 3 weeks, and he would play the role brilliantly.
and when he'd come back in the house, would he act normal?
There were times where I could pick out times that he was my dad, and then I could pick out times where he would go from that to back into that like role again, and sometimes it was daily that would happen, meaning he would be one way and then another way. But I got to experience the father, a few times in his life, whereas my brothers and sisters, because they're so much older than me, got to see him very differently. They really reaped the benefit of seeing a father,
Because they're out living their lives, right?
No, it's not even that. He wasn't prominently set in that business until I came along. So when they were little, he was still, he was doing it, but he was coming up. It wasn't like it was when I came.
Yeah.
So he had more time. He had more time for them. They always ate dinner together. They prayed together. I mean, the family would pray the rosary every day together. So he was a very religious man. He would pray 5 rosaries a day.
Would he go to church and things like that?
He would go to church, not always, but he would go. It's my understanding that he liked to go when there was nobody there.
His brother was a priest as well, right?
Yes, my Uncle Lou was a priest. Yep. They've all passed now. He was the last one to go. But yeah, he was a priest, and he built up the Bronx along with my dad's help. Yeah, it was an interesting. Let me put it this way: as hard as it was, and as interesting as it was, I tell people all the time, it's not as interesting as you think. Like, in other words, people are fascinated by the slave. They think, they watch the movies and they think this is like, the best thing since sliced bread until you live it. And then you know the truth.
Yeah, like it's glamorous. They don't
Oh
really
God,
see.
I know. They think all of that. Yeah. And it's not. At least in my world, it was not. My mother wasn't even that type of person at all. She was very, very low key, very, she would go out and buy costume jewelry at Macy's, and people would think it was real just because it was her.
Because she was who she was, yeah.
So we'd laugh about it. We'd be like, if they only knew it cost like $30. It's not that she didn't have nice jewelry. She did. He got her nice jewelry, but she actually preferred the costume, and she would only wear that other jewelry if she was going to a wedding or an event,
Yeah.
But Yeah. So,
What kind of birthday presents and Christmas presents would he buy you?
oh God, I got everything from a bicycle to drum set to dolls, which I hated. Um, all things that kids ask for and get a skateboard, whatever I wanted. A lot of times I didn't even have to ask for anything. It would just be kind of a thousand gifts underneath the tree,
And would his
you know.
friends shower you with gifts all the time when they would be around?
Usually his friends would give money in an envelope or like uh what do you call those things? Bonds, like
Yeah.
what you can give someone that would mature over time. Like I remember having a lot of those. Um I paid for college with those, to be honest with you. Um so yeah, they would, but it was mostly money, not physical stuff.
Yeah.
But like for the holidays, they would come with baskets, baskets of food or fruit or things like that, and they give it to my grandmother and my mother. So, or chocolates, whatever it was.
So after you found out that he was involved with that life, what was the conversation, or how did you find out that he was arrested for shooting Frank Costello?
I would have conversations then with, my sisters or my mom, or I would even read up on some stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
So where did your life take you from there? You're 16, you're in school, you find out that your dad's a part of this life, and where does your life take you from there?
Honestly, I graduate high school, I get a job, which it was an office job I stayed at for a while. And then I had a lot of odd jobs that I did. I worked in many different places part time just to make some money, figure out what I wanted to do. I had no idea. Um, at the age of 24, my dad offered to send me to Brooklyn to this man who owned a balloon business. And I thought it was, wow, okay, I'll go learn. I was willing to do anything because didn't know what I wanted. And so I went and I learned the whole business and I opened up my own business, and it was doing really well, for in other words, on my own for me. But he had promised me certain things that never came to fruition because he he would not follow through with it because he did not want me to make the money that I could have made doing that. Because then it might have taken me away from my mother, which in his mind was supposed to be taken care of by me until she passed. And
Yeah.
so, I we had a thing with the Marina Del Rey where I was supposed to go do a lot of business there, and until I found out that that wasn't true.
So what was it? Birthday balloons? Like,
Yeah, birthday, any kind of occasion. Any kind of an occasion you can imagine. You see the balloons, you'll see that stuff all over the place. Sometimes they're centerpieces, sometimes they're like half moons, you
yeah.
know. I enjoyed it. I really did. I loved it, and did a lot of kids parties, but a lot of the things I did, I got on my own. The Marina Del Rey was supposed to be like the cherry on top of the cake. It was supposed to, and then the rest was, you know, for me to do, and I was fine with that. But I knew that that was never going to happen when I found out that that's not really what, you know. It was like, yeah, go. He's going to give it to you, but then he got told, no, you're not going to give her anything. So I
Do you
did a
think
couple parties there, and then I said to him, not really enjoying this any longer.
do you think it was a control thing?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. Which, kind of, you know, pushed me then to go to massage school, right? I didn't finish college yet, but I went to massage school, and I became a massage therapist. I started working out with a personal trainer, and I realized how much I was truly like connected to the body. So I learned everything you could imagine about the body. And that's how I realized I was a healer, because in massage school, I was able to put my hands on people and actually feel their energy and know what was going on in the body, and then be able to help them.
When was the first time you figured out that you had this gift?
I know I was born with the gift, but I didn't understand the gift till I was in my 20s, early to mid 20s. So the gift was there all along. It's just because of the amount of craziness that was going on in my home, and um, a lot. There was always a lot of drama. It felt like, so I could not really hone and understand those abilities. Plus, my family had no idea like what that was. They wouldn't even know where to send me to, figure that out. Nobody believed at that time, nobody believed in going to see a talk therapist or anything. I put
It
myself
was
in therapy.
Yeah, back then it was like quackery and all this, right? They would
Right.
think you're crazy thinking like that, and
Yeah.
go to
So
go to church. It'll fix
that's
you,
it.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Which I started to lose my faith in the Catholic religion because of all the, I want to say, fear it put in people. And, I just didn't believe a lot of the stuff that they promoted, so I became very spiritual. I took from that religion what felt comfortable to me, which was the angels, Jesus, Mary, Holy Spirit, but when I do my work, I could connect to anybody. If Buddha came in, I could connect to Buddha, you know what I mean? So, and interestingly enough, I was told by them that we are not of any religious sect. We are energy.